Good morning and welcome to Lair Clinical's Skin Excellence Roundtable. Today we're going to cover skin slugging, skin glazing, and skin fasting. We're very excited for this. A couple of housekeeping items. We want to note that we have a question option. You can see it off to the right. Just go ahead and ask questions there. We may get to them as we're presenting, or we might just wait till the end and answer any questions. Also, who wants to win a prize? Raise your hand and let us know you're here and you're listening. Drop us a little message in the chat. Unfortunately, I am disqualified from winning a prize, but it's pretty cool.
I'm not. I can win a prize, right?
Well, raise your little hand in there. So let us know that you can see this. And at the end, at the very, very end of the presentation, we're going to randomly pick one of our attendees today to win a prize. So let's get going, shall we? Social media platforms like Instagram and TikTok, they're all great places.
Oh, my favorite.
to learn dance moves.
But first of all, Ella, thank you for finding that. For everybody to know why this is up, this is Metaxia's go-to TikTok. Every time we see her, she will open her phone up and say, look at this. It has different music. This is Metaxia's favorite TikTok video.
I don't know why it keeps popping up, but I keep liking it.
Because you keep pressing on it.
It makes us happy. There's a lot of things on social media that makes us happy. We're able to learn dance moves like we see here, or get recipe inspiration or comic relief. And trending skincare advice, that's one interesting thing that I think is a phenomenon of our current culture. What do you guys think?
Just as, can everyone see Ella's screen right now? You should be able to see her screen, and you should be able to see the four of us. I just want to make sure. Okay, all right, awesome. Okay, so let me see here. So Brandy, it might be something on your end that you might want to double check and make sure yours is on. And if you are on a more of a mobile device like a phone, sometimes the screen doesn't necessarily pop up. I can see. Okay, awesome. I just wanted to make sure. Sweet. Okay.
Well, today we're going to explore some of the skin trends that are born of social media and that have made their way into our professional treatment rooms. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
First of all, what I'd like to say is social media has changed the market for everyone. I mean, this is where you're getting your news, you're getting all your information, and we're finding that, like you said, we're looking for skincare on all of our social media. My favorite is, I think TikTok is only like 15 seconds. So you only have 15 seconds to say what you need to say and then out of there. So it is short and sweet. And I guess this is where people are getting a lot of information.
Well, I think it's important to understand that social media is actually, people are really looking to learn new tricks on the trade too. So you'll see more of the applications, more before and after. So there is communication for our industry through the social media, the platform. It really has changed, because before we wouldn't be able to share that, and now we're sharing all kinds of things. And I think the interest is to keep it going. So you'll find a lot of the estheticians in the market are doing all kinds of crazy things. I mean, even cleaning their offices to applying to before and afters, just you know, a holiday, just advertising certain things that they're promoting, new devices, new treatments. So it's really a marketing piece for the industry.
I have to ask this question for Metaxia. When you keep going to your TikTok, I think it's your TikTok, and this video keeps playing
all the time. Yes.
But you get really happy when you watch it.
Yeah, and I like it, and I know about the guy with the blue suit only because of that. But I didn't know how it got generated, but it makes me smile. And then you look over and you say, "Oh my God, you're looking at that again." I go, "No, it just pops up." So it is a moment that you have that you might look and have a smile from it. I mean, for nothing else, it just brings that moment that calms it down. Life is not that hard.
I think it's that instant gratification that all of a sudden, you know, all you have to do is click on something and you're like, oh, this makes me happy.
Yeah.
But I think, at least from my experience with social media, as well as the trends, they have a very short shelf life, so to speak. That, if you're still trying to do the, the one, okay, so if we're trying to still do the Macarena on social media, obviously that trend has passed. So, those certain things are just very, very short in that regard as well.
Tiffany, are you talking about the Macarena from our generation, from like high school and
Well,
college?
that
Or
one,
the
it's
new
the
one that
one
just hit
that's
TikTok?
okay. So let me repurpose here because I just super dated myself. But I know like a year or two ago, that Savage Love song, that was
Mhm.
one that a lot of the kids were like doing the dance. I don't know the dance, but they were doing that. But if that pops up on your social media now, I mean, that's like, oh, that's so 3 weeks ago. I mean, I know my teenagers at home, it's that attention span is just a short, Mom, that's so yesterday. What are you thinking? Oh, sorry. So
That's what I thought too, and I've heard some of these skincare trends to Metaxi's point. On the opposite end, I've heard it from consumers, right? I've seen these influencers making these statements or trying to start something in my eyes. One time I had a client come in who actually used one of the trends we're going to be speaking out about in her explanation during our consulting, and I thought, okay. And then shortly thereafter, I was actually reading on social media another person in a professional setting referring to this trend as well, and I'm like, whoa, wait a minute, how did we get here? So let's dive into that and talk about some of the trends that we're seeing that were born of social media. So the first one we have is glazed or glass skin. This began with K Beauty, and it's where the skin appears poreless, luminous, translucent, hydrated, and fresh. Then we have skin slugging. So this is the one that my client came to me and she said, oh, I slug with this. And I was like, okay, she's of that generation. I thought, oh, that's cute. And then I realized what she was doing. So she was a first-time client to me, but basically what this is where you coat your face. This is how it was born. It's since evolved, but where you coat your face in petroleum jelly or Vaseline to prevent transepidermal water loss and hydrate the skin. So it was born to address dry skin. And then we have skin fasting, and this actual picture is from an article where this woman, she did a 7-day skincare fast where she didn't do anything. And the intention behind this is taking a break from your current skincare routine to let your skin breathe, rest, and reset. What are your thoughts?
Well, let's start with glaze since it's the first one on there. And I think it had to do with glazed donuts.
Yeah, it looked like a glazed donut, like a Krispy Kreme.
Right. And I remember walking through and seeing the new makeup trends are very shiny. So a lot of the new makeup that people are wearing is for the skin to be shiny. And I guess what we're looking for is that hydrated perfection, hydrated, healthy look. I think that's something that's very popular because healthy skin is beautiful skin.
Right.
I don't know how much of a benefit the skin has by glazing. I think it's a look, and I think it's an eye catcher to have that shininess as you are presented to whoever. But I don't know if it's a benefit towards the skin. But again, there is so many different trends out there that catch people's attention, and that would catch my attention if I saw somebody walking around with a glazed face. But I don't know what kind of benefit it would have. Do you,
But
Fran?
have you seen certain makeup, or if I remember correctly, I think I was watching the Johnny Depp trial and Amber Heard was having that shiny look right here all the time. And I was just looking at her makeup saying, wow. And it's very shiny. So this is where I'm noticing that shiny look really very popular.
How about
Tiffany,
you, Tiff?
did you see Michael Moore's, who is one of our ambassadors, did you see his social media post yesterday where he said highlighter should be meant to highlight areas and not meant to be like a reflective
overall,
vest?
Yeah, I mean, I know that depending that clients do need to be careful sometimes dependent upon the actual finishing powder that they are using. It's almost if they're using those minerals, sometimes if you over polish them, it does give you that shine that you do need to be careful of. But you know, by way of having skin look hydrated, having skin look fresh, you know, if your skin's healthy, you don't need to use, you know, multiple products, and what I would consider the makeup category over the skincare category in order to create that look. It should be there naturally if your, you know, if your skincare routine is actually following those natural functions of the skin.
But I
But
think a
one thing,
glow,
go ahead.
but I think a glow and a glaze is different. So we need to understand that there's a difference between both. And so a glaze is definitely the overall shininess of a complete face, right? Where highlights are limited to an area to bring attention to that area. But a glow, where I think that for me, a glow is something that is healthy skin, that does reflect the poreless, the luminous, I mean, the fresh and hydrated. A glow is a little bit different for me, where you're not reflecting, you're more just glowing. So I don't know. For me, it is a trend, and I see it and I respect it. But for me, I think glow is where I would want to be, because that would be something that my skin is reflecting the healthiness of it more than just the appearance of it.
I think what I'm seeing is that I'm looking at her skin right now in that picture, and it's that healthy, hydrated skin. And one product we do have is the SPF hydrating. And the SPF hydrating has an ingredient called Lift. And this ingredient actually is, you can use it for the lips to plump up the lips. And Lift also plumps up the skin, and your skin has that hydrated, dewy look. And it's really nice, especially for people who are dehydrated, because we really do need to bring the hydration back into the skin. Because when the skin's dehydrated, you're seeing wrinkles, you're seeing all, you know, all the skin conditions that we work on. We're able to see more when the skin is dehydrated. So the fact that it's glazed brings the hydration back into the skin. Lift does a great job to actually give you that healthy, hydrated look.
I think you guys have all touched on it, and that is that these trends, however, the vehicle, the intention is to be healthy, is to gain healthy skin. And so these TikTok and Instagram trends, however, are they doing that? I think of the trend of eyebrows, right? And we see these beautiful, the intention a few years ago was to have natural brows, but then that trend takes its own life to these really bushy, like very manicured fake brows. So is that something that we're doing specifically with slugging? You know, whereas it started out with, I'm going to imagine an untrained professional, and I'm pretty sure it was Haley Bieber who started this, thinking, oh, if I put this on, then I wake up, my skin's hydrated, without completely understanding that there's an instant result, but not a long-term benefit. There actually might be long-term detriment.
Well, I had an aunt, we have an aunt that actually used to use Vaseline on her face for slugging. I mean, but it wasn't slugging in those days, it was hydration. And what she did is she would use that just to make sure her skin was hydrated. And what it does, it just, you know, helps the skin have that little more hydration. We're very lucky today to have the technology not to have to put that type of product on the skin where it has to be so occlusive. We're actually putting on products that get into the basal layer and do something. They're able to get in there and put nutrients in the skin. They're anti-inflammatories, antioxidants. So you're repairing as you're hydrating, where, you know, a lot of people maybe feel they have to push in the products, but when you have a product that has a new technology of a delivery system, you don't have to push it in at that point.
Well, and
ahead,
I was going to say that, you know, Vaseline petroleum jelly is an occlusive barrier on the skin. It's not going to allow your skin to breathe. Because just molecularly, the molecule is so large, it's not going to be able to penetrate the skin. And that's where, you know, Francine makes the beautiful point of, it's also, you have to look at the delivery of what they're actually doing. And if it just sits on the skin, like, for lack of a better analogy, you know, a really thin layer of saran wrap over their face. You know, when you're looking at that is something to consider. There is no benefit.
Well, for me, and I agree with both of you, is that just imagine if you don't cleanse your face properly and you put a heavy layer of this petroleum jelly on your face. What you're doing is causing it to be more capsulated so that it becomes more of a blackhead, it becomes more of a acne lesion that could come up. But what they're trying to do is keep the skin hydrated, because what happens, the skin gets dehydrated, so the repair is at night. So putting a thick layer, hoping that whatever gets in, if it ever gets in, will benefit. So when you wake up in the morning, there's a level of hydration. Sophisticated formulations and in technology has given us opportunity that when you have a good cleanser, when you are cleansing the face properly at night and you put on a product and you want to put a treatment cream at night, there is technology and ingredients that will help repair what needs to be repaired and reduce the pigment and keep the skin hydrated. So technology has taken over that type of home care, sleep type of treatments that they're trying to do. In the past, we had no choice. With Thea Mary, what you're talking about, Thea Mary literally would use lemon to brighten her pigment and Vaseline to put on her face because there was not anything out there that would, give
But
her
her
that
skin
same
looks
boost.
good. I mean,
Yeah.
for her age, her skin looks really nice.
I mean, she looks fantastic, and I can tell you, she's never let her skin go dry. She's always done something to do at night to put hydration. And if you notice, the older generations, that when people have really nice skin, is because they've been very consistent as far as hydrating the skin from a younger age. So there is a difference
Stayed out of
as
the
far
sun.
as, huh?
And she stayed out of the sun.
Yeah, obviously, and use lemon juice all the time on her hands, on her face. So she was consistently doing something to keep her skin from breaking down.
I think you nailed it there. I think that is the key, right? You nailed it in that there's something underneath. And so for me, slugging would be like sucking in your stomach and then letting go. So sucking in your stomach for a picture. That's just a temporary thing. But if you suck in your stomach while you're doing crunches, you might have abs, right? And so that's a similar process. I don't know that slugging would always be bad. I don't know that I would particularly slug with Vaseline, but there is opportunity to take this trend and dissect and understand what functions are they trying to address, and then apply it in a professional way with delivery systems, putting something underneath and then including it periodically, not nightly per se, because you don't need to anymore. But that's something that could be done, especially as we enter in the dry seasons, that it could be done, but not on a daily basis and not with just any all-occlusive barrier.
Well, we have a product called the Health Recovery Balm. And that is an occlusive product that we use for certain things. I mean, one thing we use it for is the lips, because when people have dry lips, we have a beautiful lip factor, but at the same time, which has the maxi lip, which plumps them and helps with the lips. But a lot of people even use our recovery balm because it does give that extra hydration and protection that they like quite a bit. We also use it a lot of times when the skin needs an occlusive barrier. So that is okay when let's say you're doing a treatment and, they need to actually use it to, protect the skin at that point. There's a time and place for it. But to use it at night just for hydration is not needed anymore with the technology we have.
With what we have, but that doesn't mean all products are good. Let's just disclaim that. Because now we're going to talk about the next trend, which is skin fasting. So I want to ask you guys two questions here. It's a dual one, a fork in the road, if you will. So this trend is to detox your skin, if you will. And the theory is you're going to just let the skin reset, let it start over, let it do its thing the way it's supposed to without an interference of product. And the intention is it's supposed to clear up blackheads and reestablish your own natural moisture factor and such. Now we hear fasting, and we know that that is a diet trend as well. So I want to talk to you guys about this trend and also the influence of diet trends on skincare.
That's constant. That's every time. Every time you hear about a new fruit or something benefit, like acai became popular and we were drinking it and then we're putting it in our skincare products. Pomegranate, you know, we all know pomegranate juice is fantastic because it does great things for your body. Same thing for your skin. So when you see, or quinoa, oh, there you go. We have quinoa now in the hair products. We have quinoa and, you know, and
Oh, quinoa?
skincare. Yeah. What was that, Ella?
Quinoa?
Quinoa. Oh, okay.
I'm just
And
kidding.
so, yeah, you constantly see that. But intermittent fasting has become so popular right now. And people know that if you starve yourself in the, you know, all morning long and only eat a certain amount and then close it off again, that, you know, this is actually very good for the body. And even in our religion, we even go through fasting for certain holy days because it's actually good for the body to fast. Um, so it does become important for the body, but now on the skin, I care to differ on this one. I believe in detoxing, but I don't know about not using products. I have a little bit of an issue with that one.
Well, for me, this goes back to when we were doing crazy peel.
Did Metaxi get stuck?
I think so. I think she froze.
What are your thoughts, Tiffany, in the meantime?
Well, in regards to that fasting aspect, I'm kind of on the side with Francine. You know, I think the other thing that we need to look at is when we fast our bodies, yes, we're not ingesting anything, but we don't have the exposure that our skin does, you know, internally. You know, with those all of those environmental effects that we have on our skin now that we you know, we really technically have no control over unless we're protecting it. And so in order to actually take that trend and apply it to our skin externally, I'm not a fan. Just because you know, part of that prevention and that maintenance is protecting the skin. And if there's nothing on it, there's no barrier.
Do we get Metaxia back?
I don't see either one of them. So I'm thinking that they're
Maybe having some internet issues. Well, I would agree with you.
funky.
There we go. I would agree with you, Tiffany, on that. The other thing that I would say is that, to be quite honest, I would agree and disagree. So here's where I agree with you is that you don't need to fast if you have good skincare.
Absolutely.
I got it.
Okay. So we're just talking now about the need to detox. And I was saying Tiffany had a great point about like environmental issues and the exposure that the skin faces that's not the same parallel as a diet fast. And for me, as long as you have good skincare, there's no need to fast. However, if you have bad skincare, then you might need that detox period. There might be some issues there where it's not addressing the functions of the skin in an intelligent way. It's just plopping ingredients on. Even if they're trendy ingredients, it doesn't mean they're going to provide, like, receive the message. The skin's not going to communicate necessarily. So that's my thoughts. What do you guys think?
I was going to say just one additional point is looking at the fact of you're assessing what the skin needs, as well as, you know, the skin's needs change on that seasonal basis, and rotating different products through your client's home care program and switching it up a bit is also a beautiful way to, you know, change it up a bit so that skin does not acclimate to just one thing, that you're continually surprising it in a different way.
Stimulate rather than detox.
Yes.
Yeah.
What about you? I said earlier, I don't know where we got cut off and I came into Fran's room, but the thing is that we learned from doing crazy peels, there was two concepts of actually leaving the skin to dry so that it would be more of a dramatic peel, a better result, versus putting any hydration during the healing out of a peel. What we realized is that by hydrating the skin during that process, the skin was healthier, didn't have the sensitivities, and it built itself back up faster because we needed that cushion. We needed the epidermis to have all the functions aligned properly. So by fasting or causing the skin to be at a need where it doesn't have the hydration, it doesn't have the reassurance, what you're doing is keeping the alarm on the melanocytes there. So it needs to be hydrated. And when you do the intermittent fasting, you are still drinking water. you're allowed to drink that because you need it. So what we're realizing is that what Ella said too is that if you're using a product that's irritating you, maybe stopping it is really smart, but cleansing your face and keeping your skin hydrated and sun protected is really, SPF protected, is really the key, because it needs to live. It needs to be responding to an element of the environment, the heat, the cold. It needs to be cleansed. It needs to have those functions to keep it healthy. So fasting on the skin, I don't personally think that that's a benefit, except keeping the skin at a sensitive point.
Also, when they're talking about fasting, is that makeup too? Because a lot of people have comedogenic makeup, or they have makeup they're wearing and it's, clogs the pores, and they have to keep working on their skin. So makeup's very important, what makeup they're wearing. And so if they're not wearing makeup for a week and they're, not putting that on, the skin is going to breathe a little more too. So if you're wearing the correct makeup and the correct skincare, you should be fine. And the key thing, what we're all saying here, is products should be able to do something, not just go on the skin. Hydration is one thing, but refining your pores is another thing. And, anti-inflammatory, you can fast all you want, but if you have any erythema in the skin, you're going to need to calm it down. So using the correct product makes a huge difference.
Well, when you want to refine when you fast, your skin doesn't correct itself. There is no benefit to fasting,
You're right.
because when you're fasting, so you strip the skin of what it needs, or how you cleanse, or how you protect. To me, there is no reason. What is the benefit? Just making my skin drier and more sensitive and dirtier? I don't understand it. Dirtier. I'm sorry.
I think when you have,
that was good. That was really good.
what's the point? I think when you have subpar skin care, you need it. But I think what's unique about Lair Clinical is that we understand they're intelligent formulations, because we understand that we need to work with the functions of the skin. We need to identify what's going wrong and fix it. Let the body, we're supplementing what the body needs, what the skin needs, in order to be bright and be beautiful. And I think that the same way, whether you're fasting or you're on the RP diet, or you're on, I've been on all of them, but if any of these diets you're on, there's an opportunity with the American diet that you're not getting the nutrients you need. And so for that, we take supplements. So if we take supplements for our body, shouldn't we look at good skincare the same way, as a supplement to natural function?
So tell me what is the benefit of intermittent fasting? What is the benefit?
To actually cleanse the body. The body needs to be cleansed.
It's what?
The body needs to be cleansed. So
I'm sorry. Right there.
I was just saying the body needs to be cleansed so it could work properly and stuff. So this helps the body be able to digest, and then you get the nutrients, and it's good for the digestive system. It's very important, because the digestive system is one of the main functions of the whole body, where you're able to absorb nutrients and all of that.
I thought it was more for weight loss, or
It is. Yeah, the intermittent fasting, because you're taking that longer stretch, a minimum of 12 to 14 hours.
Right.
It's supposed to be resetting your metabolism internally.
Correct. That's what I was told.
Yes, so it's initiating a higher metabolism. Exactly what you said, though. You still have the ability to drink water, and that is key with intermittent fasting, is making sure that you have enough water intake throughout the entire day, not just in the morning, but throughout the entire day.
Exactly.
So it does initiate and stimulate that, once again, kind of resetting that metabolism. I want to say it's that kind of that 7 to 10 day mark. I'm not like, by no means am I an expert on this, but that 7 to 10 day mark to start that intermittent fasting, so your body gets into that and has that metabolism reset, as you will.
But they usually continue it. I notice a lot of people like to continue it, because it's actually very healthy for the body.
Into that, like into that routine, it's a lot easier too. I do have some friends that do it.
I will disclaim that it works for some, but not for all. Speaking from experience. So for me, neither would a skincare diet, because at 44, I'm not chancing it.
Well, I think what's really important to understand is that if you are realigning your home care and skincare, you start fresh and introducing one at a time. That's a reason to kind of reorganize your skincare, but I don't want to thin out my epidermis. I don't want to adjust my epidermis in a way, like you said, it's a totally different organ. We don't treat all the organs the same. But I think that, reevaluating and stopping a home care type of regime is important if you're reassessing the skin and trying to see what response you're getting from the skin. Is a little bit different than being on a fasting kick to help the skin. I don't understand that, but that's just my opinion on this.
Well, I think we all realize after the age of 25, everything starts depleting in the body. So we do need to put back in. Just like you need, supplement, you need nutrients, just like your body does, so does your skin. So, at this point, fasting, at the point where you need nutrients and you need all of these ingredients into the skin, I think it's not very helpful. I think we really do need to adjust, change products up every quarter, make sure that, we recalibrate through changing up of products, and make sure we use products that the skin needs at that time.
Totally agree with that.
Yeah.
I mean, and I will say, after 40, those needs for the skin might change even more, especially internally too. Your body must say a little bit more.
You're like walking down the
Skin
street,
might
and I'm like,
be a
what is
little
going
bit
on?
And the other thing I was going to ask for fasting, are they making sure that if you're doing skin fasting, you're drinking a lot of water? Because water does help your skin, obviously.
That
So,
article, the article was hilarious because this particular article, the author was saying that by day 3, that her skin was so dry that she was thinking, okay, I can't wear any lip product, lip balm, I think is what she called it. But if I put it on my boyfriend and then I kiss him, I'm not cheating. So it reminded me of those thoughts of when you're on a food diet of like, okay,
yeah.
if I just smell the M&Ms, I'm not cheating. So funny. So, I mean, that's a good point. Your body does need a lot of water. But we have to acknowledge this. We have slugging, which is like occluding the skin so it's going to hydrate. And then we have fasting, which is don't put anything on your skin. And these are on the opposite sides. So what is in the middle of that is understanding. As professionals, here's what we have to do. We have to understand what is the intention, why are our clients seeking this out, and then translating into something that will work. And the answer is healthy skin. So do you guys agree?
I totally agree. It's keeping the skin healthy, and that's what keeps the youthful appearance. That's what keeps the function of the skins working properly. I think healthy skin is where it's at. It's not the thin, crispy, what's the word I'm looking for? The skin that has no color. We want to respect the melanin. We want to respect healthy skin. We want all that. We want to lighten someone's skin. We want to brighten someone's skin.
One thing I like about this is showing that the barrier should be hydrated. That's the one thing that I got out of the first 2, slugging and glazing, but to a point where it looks dewy and healthy. And I think keeping the barrier healthy is one of the first things to beautiful skin. I really do feel that makes a big difference. So making sure the skin is hydrated is a good, not only a trend, but a good thing to do permanently.
Well, I think you can look at too, if someone is on a diet, so to speak, they do have a professional, or should be having a professional guide them through that process, whether it's a dietitian, whether it's a physician, but on that same pendulum, that same thing goes for your skin. If you need to have that correction, if you need to have that maintenance, you want to still continue with your prevention, you should be having a professional guide you with that. And that's where, Lyra Clinical, the esthetician, that skincare professional is going to guide that client's skin through those proper channels, because there are diets out there that are obviously internally not healthy for you, not good for the body. And those type of skincare trends can sometimes fall into those same categories. So being able to have that professional and already having a system in place that gives you those in-clinic treatments, those weekly home treatments, this is the daily home care that you need to be on, that's where it's going to be the most successful, but it's also going to be the safest.
But if somebody does want to play around with these trends, I do like to remind people that the SPF hydrating does help give that dewy look. I think that's something we have to remember. And the mist The Bio Mist is a Biohydra Mist is also very nice to put on the skin at that point. And if you're going to be fasting, you know, put some mist on once in a while and drink a lot of water.
A couple, I will say a couple drops of spa nourishing oil in the BB cream can give you that more iridescent look with a BB application too that looks really nice.
Well, let's talk about how to get the Lyra look. I think to piggyback on what Tiffany's saying is professional guidance. You see on a lot of diets, they're like, don't forget to seek out the medical advice or whatever before you're doing it. This is the same with the pros. On the other end, professionals should not discount these trends so that clients are feeling comfortable or safe or whatever the word is that you choose to let you know what they're doing. And just understanding, I think, is important. Why are they seeking them out in the first place? Is it because they want to keep up with something, or are they needing a shift? So especially for first-time clients, just being aware and knowing what to supplement. Tiffany mentioned the Mystique Illuminating Beauty Oil. This is also something that technically you could slug with because it's locking in moisture. It's a dry oil and it absorbs into the skin, but as far as methodically, this could be considered something like that, even though it's not occlusive. So just switching it up to something different. And not to burst your bubble, anybody that is into these skin trends, but Tiffany also mentioned this earlier, healthy skin outlasts any trend. So trends come and go. We look at eyebrows, for example, and we know, Taxi and Francine, we can all speak to the cadence of the trends in the industry. Sometimes they make a boomerang, or sometimes they just poof, go away. But they're not always here to stay. So in the meantime, let's talk about how to get, and Francine's touched on a lot of these, for glazed or glass skin, understanding that makeup is what makes you look shiny or glazed potentially, but that is not a substitute for good skincare. Francine also mentioned the hydrating SPF, which smells amazing, or the mineral mist. Slugging. It is delivery systems that allow access into the skin. So if we're talking about the intention is to rehydrate or to prevent tool, that it doesn't have to be occlusive. But if you do slug, be sure that you're using effective skincare products underneath, like they were talking about their aunt who used lemon. And then for skin fasting, if you're not toxing the skin, is there really a need to detox the skin? And for that, I would say that good skincare products will not require detoxing, but maybe, as Tiffany mentioned, a seasonal shift. And it doesn't have to be, or just periodic shift whenever you need it, you know, dropping a product here or removing a product just to keep the skin on its healthy toes. What do you guys think?
And I like what you said, Ella. Listen to your client. You may think that, no, you don't need to do that because I am giving you healthy skincare. Listen to them. And if there is something that they want, you can talk them through it, see what they want to do, because their thoughts are very important.
Absolutely.
Well, and you want to make sure that they feel like they're being heard.
Yes.
I think that's key. You know, I am just like, I feel like I'm in a rut. I feel like I'm this. I feel like I'm that. And honestly, if you're looking at their home care going, you know what, this is ideal for what they're doing, a great way to kind of switch something up and they feel like they're doing something a little bit different. That home care treatment section, that home treatment, you know, leg of their actual system is a great way to switch something up, but not over the top. And that's where, you know, maybe going from pro pads to, for example, a mask that is coming out really, really soon. And it's amazing. And being able to switch that and saying, you know what, why don't you try this? Let's try this as your home treatment 2 times a week. Can really make all the difference that they feel heard. They're doing what they need to do.
Tiffany, thank you for bringing that up. I'd like to remind everybody today that our awesome education team, Ella and Tiffany, will be doing a Facebook Live today on Facebook Pro, on our Lyra Clinical Facebook Pro. And they'll be talking about something new that's coming out, and it is our Pro Brightening Mask, which does leave the skin bright and hydrated, falls all into the categories, okay, that you need. So today at noon Pacific time, watch for these two fantastic ladies. They are going to be doing the Facebook Live noon Pacific time today.
1 p.m.
Yeah, 1
Excuse me.
Pacific.
1 Pacific, I apologize. 1 Pacific time today on Facebook Pro.
Now let's talk about questions. I know there might be any questions. Tiffany, do we have any?
We have a looky here. There were a couple of comments and we already covered them. If anyone has any other questions, if you want to type those into your question box on the right-hand side of your screen, that's where we can pull those up and see if anyone has any questions in that regard.
Can we remind everyone on the next roundtable, the date and the topic, so that we can also get them excited for the next roundtable?
David has a question. He said, can ingredients penetrate through the glaze or slugging? That's a great point. I think it's the opposite. So putting the ingredients underneath, unless you have a product that is full of them, like not full of them, but inclusive of them. Like we take, for example, our health recovery balm. It's not just an inclusive product. It actually has some healing properties to it. So
slugging, no, but glazing, possibly. Depends on what you're glazing with. So like right now, can something penetrate, let's say our SPF hydrating? Depends on what the product is and what's going on. It could, but slugging, no.
True slugging is when you're using that occlusive barrier. And so, and it's exactly that, kind of like that super thin saran wrap across your face. So nothing's going to be able to penetrate that. So whatever's in the skin is staying and whatever's out's out. So if a client is struggling with, you know, comedonal development, has potential for blackheads or milia, or even experiencing that internal inflammation, that can initiate a pigmentation response. It can initiate an acne response. And so that's where you, once again, you want to make sure whatever you're wanting to keep in the skin is good. And that breathable barrier is a little bit more on the healthy medium side, you know, so you do that. And our BB creams are a beautiful example of that, you know, directly after a procedure, being able to hold the goodness in, but still allow the skin to breathe and let the heat out so there isn't an inflammatory response.
I mean, it's a barrier. When you include something on the skin, you're keeping, like you said, Tiffany, it's a barrier, it's a wall. And do you really want a wall to hold the heat in? Do you really want a wall to hurt to keep the dirt in, or the bacteria or the dirt, whatever? Why put a wall on something that you don't necessarily want to trap? And so I think that's where it doesn't make sense. Common sense with skincare is it's really very easy. Common sense. You want clean, you want healthy, you want hydrated, and all these factors can be stopped with a barrier. So,
and I like what Tiffany said earlier, the BBs with the oil, with the beauty oil, that gives you that nice glaze look, but it's also breathable, and you're getting benefits for the skin. It's anti-inflammatory, and you're getting that, you know, that perfection on the skin look with that glaze look at the same time. So those are things you can do for your clients if they are requesting that type of look, or if they want any products that will help them with that look.
Okay, you guys, it is prize time. Who's excited? I'm going to give a call to Emily in customer service, and I'm going to have her pick a number randomly. Ringing. Thanks to everyone in the meantime for being a part of this. This is always so much fun, and we're so excited to be back. Hi, Emily. Say hi to the roundtable. Great. Hey, Emily, can you give me a number? Pick a random number between 1 and 247.
Oh, 222.
Ooh, good one. Okay, let's see whose number corresponds to 222. We have Terry Goldstein. Terry Goldstein. Thank you, Emily. Okay, okay, bye. Okay, Terry, we're going to have you contact customer service, and we've got a special prize for you. And for everyone else, thank you so much for attending the Skin Excellence Roundtable. Don't forget to catch the next one, which is Clean Beauty. Are you guys ready for this? The Pure Peel. I am so excited. I know everyone else is so pumped. Right, guys?
It's 2 years waiting, and it's finally here.
Yes, it's here, and we're going to
Something new.
something new. Nobody has it. We're going to tell you all about it on September 20th. And so go ahead and register. Run, don't walk, run and register for that one. It's going to be a good one.
Thank you all for being with us today. We appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you
you
for
so
the
much.
education team. We have a wonderful team, and I'm glad everyone joined. Thank you.
Thank you
Bye-bye.
so much. Bye.